Thank you. Respected elders, my brothers and sisters, I just came from Region 9. I went to Anay and Karasabay. Anay and Karasabay. And Region 9, they are all voting PPP. Make no mistake. Make no mistake. Victory is assured. Victory is a must. We are on the path to victory. There is no stopping this victory. There is no stopping this victory. What we want to do is to ensure every single vote come out. To ensure every family come out. To ensure every community come out. Because this victory must be so massive that there must be no doubt. There must be no shadow of a doubt. This victory must be so massive that when it is declared, the very next day, your government will commence the work of fixing Guyana, fixing the mess, and returning our country on the road of prosperity. We not only have a plan, but we have a set of actions that from day one will put back money in your pockets, put back money in your community, and revitalize the economy. From day one, we are going to put back people to work. The 30,000 jobs they took away from people, we are going to work on restoring the jobs and bringing new jobs so that people can earn and have money in their pockets and support their families and support their communities. On March the 2nd, you are voting to end any possibility of our country going into a full-blown dictatorship. This is our opportunity on March the 2nd to stop this cabal on the road of dictatorship where your rights, your freedom, your dignity will be stripped from you. And they have shown us, they have no respect for the Constitution. They have no respect for the rule of law. They have no respect for the court order. And very recently, Ranger himself showed us that he could have walked in on the day the disciplinary forces were voting in his campaign shirt, in his green shirt, as if nothing is wrong with that. As if nothing is wrong with that. Today, we have to battle up to this moment to ensure our supporters and Guyanese are not disenfranchised. We have to battle to ensure that they get their fundamental right to elect a government of their choice. But make no mistake, this party, your leaders, will battle every day, every hour to ensure your rights, your freedom, your rights and your freedom is protected. We will not, and we shall not, we will not, and we we shall not allow anyone to disrespect you and to take away your dignity, because when you lose your dignity, you lose your honor, and we will never allow the people of this country to lose their honor. As long as it takes and as hard as it is, we will and we must stand up on the side of the people, and that is what your government will be doing. My brothers and sisters, today, when you vote for the People's Progressive Party Civic here in Parika, you're voting for the return of the vibrant senior economy. You have seen over the last 5 years what has taken place here. Many of the stores, many of the businesses has downsized. Some have even closed their doors. The sawmills that were once blooming are closing, or they don't have enough logs, or there is no market. The market that was once vibrant, today, when you go there in the evening on Sundays, you see people, farmers especially, with tons of produce that has to be dumped or taken back to their homes. All of this is because the government has taken out of your pockets. The government has stripped you of your disposable income. They did this by the more than 200 taxes that they applied. $91 billion they took out of their pocket. And on March the 2nd, we must fix this by removing those burdensome taxes and putting back the $91 billion in the pockets of the people. In the last 5 years, my brothers and sisters, more than 12,000 workers in the forestry sector would have lost their jobs. Investment in the forestry sector is on the decline. When forestry is on the decline, Parika is on the decline, because the boat operators, the tugs, the barge, the sawmill owners, the tractor operators, the guys who go in as operators in the operation in the interior, all of them are affected. When they're affected, their families are affected. When their families are affected, the economy of Region 3 is affected. So the dent on the forestry sector has caused enormous hardship on the people of this region, on the people of this community. We have to fix it by getting back the investment in forestry, by returning the incentives on machinery and equipment, and by helping them to recapitalize themselves so we can open up back operation, open up back those sawmills, open up back jobs, and get forestry working again for our people. And those who understand the economy of Parika will know how important the mining sector is for Parika as a major hub. The speedboat operators will get special. They will get hired to take in a park for a mining camp. The taxi drivers out there, when the miners come, they will get hired to take the miners to Georgetown to conduct their business. The mining sector has declined by more than 60%. 60% of all the dredges that were operating in 2015 are no longer operating today. More than 10,000 without a job. That is 60 operations that would have closed down. The small and medium-sized miners are suffering. When they suffer, Parika suffer, the taxi drivers suffer, the boat operators suffer. So in these elections, we are voting for the return of the mining sector, the return of the jobs, the return of the support to the boat operators, the taxi operators, the return of the vibrancy to the mining sector. And you will notice when the government comes on a public meeting, When a government comes to a public meeting, they can't respond to these things. The only thing they can talk about is garbage bag and garbage bag. After the garbage bag, Gaff, what is it? What about your future? What hope you have for a better Guyana for your children? What are your plans and your vision to make people want to believe that they have a future in this place? They have no plan, they have no vision, they have no strategy. Are we going to support such a party? My brothers and sisters, for those who are listening, who still don't understand what is at stake, your family future is at stake. Your country is at stake. Make a decision that will make you sleep at night, where your conscience will be clear that you are electing a government that has the best interest of the people of this country at heart. And if you elect such a government, you will be electing the People's Progressive Party Civic. This road, and let me say this, this government is in office for more than 5 years. They're in office for almost 8 years now. You will recall that we had a minority government and they had control of the parliament. And what they used the control of the parliament to do, they cut money that we want to give to farmers. They cut D&I. They cut money to support agriculture. They cut farm to market access road. They cut the specialty hospital. They cut money for health care. They cut money for education. They cut money that would have improved the life of the people. What kind of people can these people be when they can cut such money for the development of the people? Right here, we can point to many things that we did to make life better. This road, the Ruby Road, you may not understand how important these investments were, but a piece of land, an acre of land in this area, 5 years ago compared to today, that the price of that land has increased by more than 500% because the government made this investment of putting this road in there and opening up those lands and giving those lands a value. That is what your government did for you. And my brothers and sisters, that was just the beginning. That was just the beginning. Because after March 2nd, we are not going to rest until we complete every single farm to market road across this region. So our rice farmers don't have to go and beg every crop for a machine to come and grade it down. We must end that. And after March 2nd, we will end that when we elect the PPP Civic that will invest in these, make these investments. My brothers and sisters, when you vote on March 2nd, you will be voting to support the cash crop farmers and the small and medium-sized farmers. We cannot continue to have a system where small and medium-sized farmers are borrowing at very high interest rate. To help them, we must create a special development fund that will help them to expand production, that will help them to open up new lands. So I want to tell all our small farmers here tonight that we will be setting up a special grant and loan facility to support the small and medium-sized farmers, cash crop farmers here in this region. And the vision is to make Parika, we have to make Parika the export hub for all our agricultural products. To do this, we have to invest in a state-of-the-art agro-processing and packaging facility that will be linked directly to the CARICOM market that is $10 billion strong. This is the development. This is the support we will bring to you, the farmers, in creating wealth, opening up new markets, and ensuring that you get fair prices in a market that has higher possibility. This is what you're voting for on March 2nd. And to our young people, this area, we have a lot of young people, a lot of teachers, a lot of nurses, a lot of health workers. If you want to pursue a degree at the University of Education, you have to travel to Turkine. The world has moved past this. Your next government is going to invest in ICT so that we will bring distance and online education directly to your homes. So the teacher who want to do their degree in education no longer have to find money. They no longer have to find money out of their salary to pay transportation costs to go to Turkine. They will do it right in their homes. They will save that money and put back that money in their pockets and save that money. And every single young person in this country must be able to aspire. We want every young people to aspire to be the best they can be. If you want to become a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, you want to work in the oil and gas sector, let no one tell you you cannot achieve it. You will achieve it, because we are going to set aside 20,000 scholarships to support your aspiration, to support your dream. To all of you, my brothers and sisters, do not be afraid to dream. Dream big, dream real. The PPP will make your dreams a reality by investing in you, the people of our country. And I'm going to speak to you tonight, and I don't even have to mention oil and gas, because everything from this government is just gassy stuff. Everything is about oil and gas. While oil and gas help us to get things quickly, our economy can be built stronger in many other areas, and agriculture must be the main plank. The government must support agriculture and food production to be the main plank of our economy. And we're not only talking about healthcare and education for locals. We are going to give incentives in healthcare and education so we can attract international universities, so we can attract international students. We are going to create a framework that people must want to come to Guyana to pursue their educational ambition. When we do that, we'll be bringing in more people on the market. More people in the market means more rental. More rentals mean more food purchase. We are going to make education and health export commodity, export earning commodity. That is what we're going to do after March 2nd. So our educational program is not only the return of the $10,000 because we gave grant and making it $50,000 per child. It goes far beyond that. It is about ensuring there is access, equal access. It is ensuring there is affordability. It is ensuring that it is linked to the economic outcome and realities of our country. That is why we're going to invest in 5 international institutes. We're going to invest in an Institute of Environmental Science, an Institute in the study of biodiversity, an Institute in the study of hospitality management, an Institute for oil and gas, and very, very importantly, an institute that will allow us to train the new managers who will take over the oil industry. our medium and long-term goal must be to ensure the oil and gas sector is managed and taken care of by Guyanese, and we have to train them to do it. This is what we will be doing. Our plan to create 50,000 house lots is one that will generate wealth. It is one that will create jobs. It is one that will ensure every single family, every single person with an application that they must get their house lot, and the PPP will not stop until they get their house lot. These are the things you're supporting, my brothers and sisters. As we move forward, let us work together. And I want to say something. The development we bring is not development only for PPP supporters. It must be development for all the people of our country. The time for backward politics is long gone. The time for politics of division. The time for politics of separation. The time for politics that relies on the race card is long gone. This PPP will take Guyana forward, united, stronger together, ensuring every life is improved and every family is made better. So my brothers and sisters, on March the 2nd, you are not only supporting the $50,000 because we can grant. You're not only supporting the $40,000 due pension for old age, new old age pension. That is a doubling of the old age pension. You are supporting a system that will do better for farmers, do better for teachers, do better for public servants, do better for the policemen and women, do better for every segment of the Guyanese population. This Parika is going to become such a major hub, such a transformational hub, that we will have to train our people. We will have to retrain and retool people to work in this sector, so that the jobs that will be created are jobs that will stay right here in the community. We can't wait until the investment comes and then decide we have to train the people. We have to identify the opportunities now, and we have to train the people to meet those requirements in 2 to 3 years. And this is the commitment of your government. This is the commitment of the People's Progressive Party Civic. My brothers and sisters, this is not the time for us to misunderstand what is at stake. What is at stake is democracy. What is at stake is freedom. What is at stake is dignity. What is at stake is honor. What is at stake is respect. And if we make a wrong turn this time, it will be an unforgivable turn. We saw for 28 years what the wrong turn caused us. One mistake with the united force. If we were given a chance, we were given a life. You know, when you're playing games, it gives you a life. In 2015 to now, we were given a life with a no confidence motion. Let us use that life carefully. Let us understand that if we don't do what we have to do now, that not only you will suffer, many generations after you will suffer. Many generations after you will suffer. And in the most humblest of way, let me say this to you, that we have to be prepared with a crime-fighting strategy that looks beyond now. We can't have only soft policing. We have to mix soft policing with hard policing. We have to ensure that our crime strategy is intelligence-led, that there is greater community participation, that there is greater community ownership, that we have better infrastructure for our men and women in uniform, that we support their families, that they have better working conditions, but importantly too, we have to build a monitoring mechanism to ensure they do what they have to do. Crime fighting requires the involvement of every citizen. And we have to build a crime fighting framework and institutional mechanism that will involve greater intelligence gathering and a greater segment of the population. On March 2nd, you're voting for the return of those jobs that were lost in the sugar sector. On March 2nd, you're voting for support to the rice farmers. On March 2nd, you're voting for support to the mining sector. On March 2nd, you're voting for support to the forestry sector. On March 2nd, you're voting for the reversal of the more than 200 taxes. On March 2nd, you're voting for Guyana, all of Guyana, and all the people of Guyana. After March 2nd, all of us will be winners. Even those who don't vote for us, you will also be winners. Because you will also be in the line that will get the $50,000 because we care grant. You will also be in the line that will get your pension doubled. You will also be in the line that will get scholarships. You will be in the line that will benefit from the new state-of-the-art hospital here in Region 3. You will be in the line to benefit from the jobs that will be created, and nothing is wrong with being in that line because a government must deliver for all the people. Unlike what is happening today, open discrimination and victimization. This must end. This must end. And on March the 2nd, we will end it with our vote, with our X in the box next to the cup. So my brothers and sisters, I say to you, over the last year and a half, I've traveled every corner of this country. I have visited almost every single community. I have seen the suffering. I understand firsthand what is happening. I've went to areas that this government has never went to. I've went to areas that the government doesn't even know exist. Because in Maracaibo, for example, that I went, the government objected to all the people on the voters list here. So if the government does not even know you have more than 1,000 people living there, how can you even plan development for them? This is the madness. But on March 2nd, we have the chance to correct it. And we're going to correct it by putting our X in the box next to the cup and returning the People's Progressive Party to government. One last point I want to make before I go. Your next government next government must involve the people more in decision making. That is why decision making is going to be bottom up and not top down. Before we craft the budget, we're going to ensure that communities are involved in identifying their priorities, so that you will determine where you want the resources for your community to be spent. You must be involved in this decision making. And we are going to involve you in this decision making. After all, development must be for the people, by the people, with the people. And that is the philosophy that will govern us moving forward. So my brothers and sisters, I thank you for your support. I thank you for your support. God bless you. Long live the PPP. God bless you. And we love you. Thank you very much.
Yes, comrades! Put your hand for President in waiting, Irfaan. Comrades, the message is very clear, and I hope that you understand what our presidential candidate and prime ministerial candidate said and the other speaker. So I want to thank you for coming out.